Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Engineer.tf Asheville map review. This is the second video of our new series where we're going over the maps again in an updated format. I am the cameraman, Mothership. Payne Seer is our host, and today's guest is Rebel, our invite engineer. Say hello.
Hello, welcome, Rebel.
So, in that mind, hope you enjoy this map review led by Rebel and Payne. Take it away, Payne Seer.
Yeah, certainly, thank you. So I think we're going to probably break this down into three main sections. We're going to talk about, I think the first thing to do would be probably what you do on a mid-fight, what you're rolling out for, what your mentality is. And then we'll get into taking the point and defending the point as well. I think those are going to be our three big conversation points. So I guess let's start out with your rollout and what you typically want to do on your mid-roll, Rebel.
Okay, yeah, sure thing. I'm gonna assume that all you guys know to put down a tele entrance. So I'm just gonna start, in lobby. I have like 2 or 3 main rollouts that I'll do. The easiest one is I'll put down like an exit here. It's not my favorite tele spot, but this is the fastest rollout. So this is like if my team is trying to be really aggressive on mid and I want to support them. So I'll come out Shutter with them, just plop down like a sentry, in front of Shutter and just try to like wrangle the demo man or the heavy or whoever's walking in my medic. This is like my most aggressive mid fight. Oh, sorry about that.
It's fine.
And yeah, it's just trying to have everyone walk forward at the mid. No one's baiting. There's 2 other mids that I like to do, and both of them involve rolling out bats instead of lobby. On these 2, I'm gonna put down the teleporter here. Telespot that I prefer on this map, my favorite spot in here. Even when I build that one, I get a chance, I like to move it up here eventually. And then I'll start with the passive mid. I'm gonna roll out the bats, and I'm gonna put down like a sentry here. And then after I put that down, I go put up this tele. I only do this if I know that their scout or soldier likes to jump onto bats really aggressively. So if I know that they like to come and try to take bats right away and flank Shutter, I'm gonna roll out here, put down this mini sentry, and smack it a couple times so it's up really fast. It's to discourage them from jumping over the roof. And if they do, I like to put it around this line because it shoots them nice and early. And so that when I'm going to put down the tele, I can hear it shooting and come and finish them off. The other one that I do rolling out bats, it's the same thing where I put up a teleporter in that corner. This time I start with just putting down the mini sentry fan. And this one, it's less baity, but this is only, the other one's only if I know that they like to flank. So here I, wrangle or whatever's coming across the point. Their NG's trying to wrangle and I get mine up first. I'll kill their sentry so my team doesn't have to worry about it. Usually you get these awkward fights where both engineers are just shooting each other's wrangled minis for the entire mid.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty funny.
It's a laser beam show.
Get some good damage on the demo men, sometimes the heavy around boxes. And usually you won't get sniped. Most teams roll out Shutter. They roll out bats, you can always back up after. That's what I like to do on mid.
Are you essentially choosing your mid-roll based off of what your team is wanting?
Yeah. Engineer's a support class, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to help your team the best you can. I want to hear what they want me to do and what we're trying to do on the mid and determine it based on. Unless I know, like if I know that their scout always jumps onto the enemy fan or enemy bats every mid, I'm gonna do the passive rollout because at least for the first mid, usually get a kill on them right away. That's
So I want to start transitioning into I guess defending would be a good point.
Sure.
So would you agree that there's probably 2 main ways? There's a lot of deviations, but 2 general spots where you would defend from as NG, bats and roof?
I would say there's 3. There's bats and roof, but there's also just, wrangling a mini sentry right in front of a Shutter.
True, yes.
That's a good one as well.
So
can't do it in the Shutter anymore, but right outside is almost as good.
So let's just start talking about the different holds. Do you have a preference of which one you like often?
My favorite one is probably the playing around Shutter one. Just plopping something down by Toxic. If you really want a good one, get it almost like a little bit of cover behind the toxic barrel. It's harder for them to shoot the mini. I don't like to play on the roof for reasons I'll get into when I talk about that. And then bat this way, you're still close to rotating bats. So if your sniper, goes bats and he wants some protection, let's say their spy is up, you can very quickly go to bats and help him out a little bit by like playing around the shutter. The bats one obviously is also incredibly strong. Similar to what I was saying on mid, where you put down a wrangled mini on the fans, get good damage on them when they're trying to push. I'd say this is a more versatile hold in general. You generally stay a lot safer on NG up here. You're less likely to die. But if their sniper likes to roll out shutter or bats a lot, this is more risky. So I kind of tend to choose which of these two based on how their sniper likes to play.
Is it almost always based off of their sniper, or
if I know their sniper, when he likes to push, if I know he likes to try to peek shutter first instead of bats, I'm not going to play in front of shutter as much, because then I'm more likely to just get instantly body shot. That's not the only factor, but it's an important.
It's the big one. I mean, there's only so much you can say about how important sniper is in TF2 in general. So let's talk about roof.
Like you said, holding on ramp.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
Sorry, I'm used to upgrading. Also, needless to say, this is like just essentially going to be your default dispenser spot, pretty much always, no matter what, when you're holding.
Yeah. The two that we have here, I'd say, are the most common by far. I prefer the one like in this corner here because it's a little bit harder for the demo man to spam it with stickies. I mean, in reality, they're basically the same, but it's just a little easier for him to splash the one that's on this wall here. But there's not a huge difference. I don't like to actually play on roof as NG most of the time, because at least on my teams, I'm going to have my scout up here and sometimes my pyro. And engineers, he's a slow guy. He's a little fat compared to scout. So I don't want to accidentally eat a pipe, right, and have it splash damage onto my scout. I don't want to take the same damage. Sometimes the pyros play up here too, right? So you definitely don't want 3 people on roof, because if one person eats a pipe, 2 people are going to take splash from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, even if it's just your scout up there, I don't want to steal his space. Kind of doing the same role. I'd rather play on my sniper. If your scout and pyro are dead, though, feel free to hop on roof. If you want, you can put down like a mini on the roof somewhere. Makes it annoying for the pushing team. But once your scout's back up, he just does a better job up there. He can get up on roof easier. He does more damage to the enemy team. It's just a more versatile spot.
When you are up here on roof, what are you typically, I guess, looking out for? Or like where are you taking most of your engagements?
Sure. So when I'm playing on roof, the main engagement that's going to be happening is with a soldier bombing over. I'm going to be trying to deny the soldier, hit him for at least 80 damage to stop him midair. I might die in the process, but if it means my medic is going to survive or take one less rocket, I think that's a fair exchange. You're an engineer, you're not the most important class. If you die to save your medic, it's generally a good thing. But the other main reason that you should be on roof on NG or on scout is you're looking to see what's coming on bats. You want to see if there's snipers there, so that your team knows where it's safe, right? You see that the sniper's starting to peek there. You can generally just duck right away, and you're not going to die. But he won't hit you. So you know where he is now. You saw the sniper, you're safe, everything's Gucci. And you just wait for the soldier to. They're going to eventually, someone's going to jump over. Always happens.
And then one thing specifically about the mini, you mentioned putting it in. You mentioned putting it in this corner here. Are you typically keeping this wrangled, or? And if you are you usually looking at shutter or ramp often with it?
It depends on what's alive for the other team, but no, I normally wouldn't wrangle that, because if I'm wrangling that, you kind of have to watch either ramp or shutter. But if you're looking at ramp or shutter, it means they can bomb off of bats untested. Can't see the person on bats, so you can just get bombed by a soldier rocketed. I would say it's better not wrangle in that scenario. Let the mini shoot the guys coming out of shutter, and you watch the skies. See some anti-aircraft.
So let's say an exchange is happening, and I guess we didn't talk about it when we were over in bats or the other defending points, but we're here on roof anyway. What are you trying to typically do during an exchange when you have the point?
So I would almost never want to be on roof during an exchange. I think that's very risky because you're going to be eating all the damage from the Uber. You should really be on roof. It's much better to be playing either on fans or in front of shutter in that scenario. If they're Ubering off of bats or Ubering off of out of shutter, that's one of my favorite time to wrangle from either toxic or on fans is. You want to distract as much of their Uber as possible. Make the demo man shoot a couple stickies at your mini sentry instead of at your combo. You don't even have to get a kill, just distracting their Uber for 2 out of the 8 seconds. Realistically, it'll be less than 8 seconds if they flash their scout. So every second you can delay them. It's huge, as in. And so, yeah, either from in front of shutter or on fans, the result's about the same. Your mini's going to die faster in front of shutter, but it's got a better sight line onto where they're coming from for the most part, so you can get some better damage.
You're just trying to essentially throw away your mini for the 3 seconds or so during Uber.
Yep. Now, I will say this position on fans or in front of shutter becomes infinitely more powerful if it's near the end of the round. If, let's say, you have overtime, right? They just have to, not even, your time is about to run up, they have to get on the point right away. They're going to lose the round. You never want to die before that. You want to be alive during those situations and make them focus the mini sentry. Mini sentries win rounds so easily towards when the round's getting close. Your mini becomes worth probably 2 extra players for your situation. Very powerful.
It's a very frustrating thing to deal with as the other team. I say let's start. Is there anything else? I guess, assuming let's say you have the point or taking the exchange. Anything else you want to talk about before we talk about aggressing the point?
There's one very niche strategy that you can sometimes do.
Sure.
If you're on roof and it's the end of the round, they're gonna all head towards the and they're not gonna stay in their bats or they're losing the game. You can kind of hide on roof for a bit. When you see that everyone's left bats, you kind of jump on their bats and start wrangling a mini from their fans, and it's gonna really split their attention because they have to shoot both directions at the same time. This does not happen very often. I'd say maybe 1 out of every 10 games. It's worth knowing it's a possibility.
All right. So let's start talking about when we don't have the point. Let's say the mid fight has gone horrible. Like 7 people have died on it or whatever. What are we typically doing in this scenario?
Sure. So Asheville is a map. You don't want to spend a lot of time on your own side of the map. You want to be holding the point or trying to push right away. If you're waiting around doing nothing, you're wasting. Because of this, the main thing I would recommend doing as Engie when you don't have the point is just get your teleporter upgraded as soon as possible. You want a level 3 tele on this map. It's very, very critical. More so than like product, for instance, I would say. I think a teleporter is much more impactful in Asheville.
Yeah, I think out of any of the COF maps.
The other thing I would recommend doing, and this is, just while you're waiting, often your heavy and sniper are going to be trying to peek shutter when you're pushing the point. I like to get my dispenser up next to the shutter so that the heavy can stand there and spy check for a sniper. So that way, when you finally do cap the point again, you don't have to, start over from scratch. You can just pick it up, drag it over to range. Another very important thing to do on this point when you're trying to push is make sure that they're not flanking you from lobby. Have a nice access to this big window. So if you're on either, let's say you're on the side of bats, you can look through the window and make sure that their soldier isn't in your lobby. Or you come over to this side. You don't want to walk into a soldier for free. And the reason you want to keep this side of the lobby secured is very good for your sniper to come ramp. You need to be able to protect him when he wants to do that. There's a soldier here, your sniper can't peek ramp. Their combo, enemy combo, has a lot less to worry about. I will say, in addition, if your sniper ever does come ramp, it should never just be the engineer coming with him. You need someone else too. If you're the engineer and your sniper is coming ramp, and you're watching for like the soldier bombing, you're gonna get backstabbed. And if you're watching for the spy, you're gonna get bombed by a soldier. It's good to have like a pyro or someone come with you to watch for whichever one you're not. Just pick one and work together to protect your sniper.
So this is a tricky thing that I see a lot of engineers struggle with if they don't know how to properly deal with it. How do you deal with the defending soldier sitting on this roof?
I'm gonna be honest. If the defending soldier's sitting on that roof, it's there's not a lot you can do as the engineer. You know,
Mhm.
he's got high ground. You can just spam you. That's
You-
why I generally don't go past this corner right here. I'll maybe spot it, but I'm never gonna like run out here if the soldier's alive. I'm just gonna die. That's not my job. There's not really anything I can do from there. I've seen some NGs, try to put up like a wrangled mini right here and try to get some pressure on the combo. I don't think this is worth it because you're just gonna get bombed by a soldier or backstabbed by a spy. I think it's better just to stay alive and try to constantly push the limits of where you can go. Just go here, see if there's a soldier. If there's a soldier, you can back up just a little bit, but don't ever give them. If you see there's a soldier on the roof, don't go to your bats. Don't give him space. Make him work for it. Put up some minis and buy time. The offense NG on this map is a little difficult. There's always stuff going on, but not much you.
it's hard to, I guess, be impactful. You would say as NG on offense.
Yeah, on this map in particular, it can be just difficult due to how choky it is because your combo is going to be on bats often. You can also, that's another thing you can do, is you can play on bats with your combo if your soldier has ramp under control and kind of just be an extra spy checker. Just make sure your sniper's not getting stabbed so that your pyro doesn't have to watch him. Your pyro can just watch the medic. And then once your combo pushes, after they push, maybe you can go and plop down your mini on fans to help your team win the fight. Make sure it's going well. But you really shouldn't be dropping off first as engine. You shouldn't be the first one in. You shouldn't jump down the boxes and try to challenge the heavy yourself. More than likely just going to die.
The last thing I just kind of want to talk about real quick, just because I'm sure people are going to have questions about it, is how there's always going to be some people who are going to play NG or people down here and under. Do you have any advice or recommendations of what to do down here?
Yeah, it's definitely common for engineers to try to play under. I will say it's not a very useful strategy for the most part.
Yeah.
If your team is losing, you're almost never going to win a fight by going under. And if your team is winning, you're not going to be the reason that your team is winning from going under. It's kind of something you do when your team is going to win with or without you and you just want to have a little more fun. Because if the other team is smart and they see that there's like a mini sentry and an NG with a base set up in lower, the nice thing about Asheville is you don't ever have to go lower. They can just walk right above you and now you're completely useless.
Mm-hmm. So your best advice is just to not touch it at all, essentially.
Yeah, it's not really worth going down there for the most part. Every once in a while, maybe your soldier went down there to try to get behind and he's in like a 1v1 and it's not going well and he asks for help. Quickly go off of bats and give him like some assistance. But I wouldn't recommend setting up a base down here. It's not really a good use of your time.
No, I agree too. I was just curious of your own opinion so we can also get that recorded because
it's very fun in pugs though.
You're not wrong. Just imagine walking up behind and two-shotting the medic. Who expects that?
Every NG stream.
Exactly. Take an Uber. Just do it. So that's going to be essentially the kind of big, I guess, topic points of Asheville. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss overall as we wrap things up here?
I would just say, try to keep tabs on where your sniper is. If you're playing by ramp, which some energies do. One thing I forgot to mention about ramp actually is sometimes you can put like a pav mini back here if you're expecting the other team to sack. You're maybe down a pyro, you can put a mini there to help watch the skies. But I still think the one in front of Shutter is a more useful mini.
They essentially cover the same thing. This one, the one back here, just can go a bit deeper for bombs.
But if you're playing on ramp, for instance, and you notice that your sniper isn't with you guys, your team's holding a ramp, you don't see your sniper here. Maybe ask him where he is and then go help him. Don't let him just get backstabbed for free. He's probably gone to either Shutter or Bats, both of which spies like to decloak on this little. What is that? A milk carton?
Milk carton, right?
They like to decloak there.
That corner.
Just kill the sniper. Or on Bats, they can just come from anywhere.
Yeah, it's very very confident to decloak up here.
And stay close to your sniper. If your sniper's on fans, you can't watch him from, let's say, here, right? Because the spy can decloak maybe on the little staircase and kill your sniper before you have the time to kill him. You have to kind of position yourself in the path that the spy would take to get your sniper. So if you were, my team sniper and you're playing, I don't know, air, I want to stand somewhere where if the spy decloaks, he has to walk through my body to get to my sniper.
Become the Razorback.
Exactly. Be
the Razorback. Which, as much as we joke about, that's like a very important thing to take away, especially on a sniper dominant map like Asheville.
If your sniper, if you can't find them, just ask. I'm sure they'll tell you where they went.
Or just listen to them complain when they get stabbed for the 7th time.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get stabbed.
All right, well, I think that's it here for Asheville. Unless you have anything else, but yeah, appreciate you coming out, giving your opinion, chatting us about Asheville, giving your perspective on it and all that.
Yeah. Great.
And yeah, no, thank you very much, Rebel, and thanks here for being here for our map review. There's nothing I can think of that is important. Like there's like other like funny engineer things like level 3s maybe, but reality is those things are definitely not as useful as the things we talked about and just doing. Like even going behind, those are not really things that are helpful for your team unless you're already winning. So,
well, I guess there is one other funny thing you can do. Most NGs don't do this, but I've seen Spamfest do it. If you're sacking with your team, you can wrangle jump over roof to go with your soldier. I forgot to mention that, because I'm bad at wrangle jumping.
I completely forgot about it too. It's a tricky thing if you're not comfortable with bullet jumping. I myself am not, but you can bullet jump across this.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Austin was here, he could show us how to do that.
Yeah, Austin's another one.
Yeah, we'll get Austin here to do a trick video.
Hey,
there we go.
There you go. The main thing, though,
it's not super useful.
Basically, you had to essentially jump from here with the mini over their heads to land behind, because your soldier, if he's sacking at the demo, they're going to be landing on top of the combo here, and what you want to do is go over and behind them. That way, you can just turn around and the medic.
That's the only other funny NG thing I can think of on this map.
I mean,
think that is, yeah.
You got nothing else to do, go for it.
It can be useful.
It can be.
Yep. But on that note, thank you all for joining us for this map review. Be sure to join us next week for next week's map, which I don't remember because I'm not playing the season. Ha 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 ha. What is next week's map?
Don't know.
Vigil?
I'm assuming it's Vigil.
It's gonna be Payload. Probably
Payload, yeah.
Vigil.
Swift or Vigil, one of the two.
I'll find out next week. It's Vigil, and I guess we'll find out next week if I'm right or wrong. So if I'm wrong, write in the comments. If I'm right,
Vigil or Swiftwater.
Yeah. And then, thanks for joining us, everyone, and join us next week. Bye-bye.